Well, this is a big box. The DX Soul of Chogokin Great Mazinger has arrived. 11 kilograms. Very heavy. We are going to do a quick unboxing, and then I'm going to play with the toy and let you guys know what I think of it. So, let's see what's going on here. I like it when they give you a little spacer between, so if you're cutting, you don't cut into the box. It's very nice when they do that. Oh. How am I going to get this out? Alright, I have an idea. Wow, that's fancy. Whoa, nice. Damn. What is all this? Like, oh shit. Wow. Look at that. Go guy. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Friendship. Okay, this is cool. Message from Go Nagai. I will read to you. When I was requested to make the next series after Mazinger Z, what I made was Great Mazinger. At the time, the manga was featured in the monthly children's magazine, TV Magazine, which was only 22 at most 30 pages, so fitting in one episode was very hard. Unlike Mazinger Z, which was featured in Weekly Shonen Jump, I could not take several weeks to tell as much story as I wanted, so I still have a feeling of unburned fuel. Now with the release of the wonderful DX Soul of Chogokin Great Mazinger, I have been given the chance to draw a main illustration of Great Mazinger, so I will put in all my energy and finally use up some of that unburned fuel. If I have been able to make all the fans happy, then I am pleased. Go Nagai. Well, I think I'm going to be pleased. And here we have the DX Soul of Chogokin Great Mazinger in all its glory. It is pretty epic and a huge improvement over the first Mazinger that they did a few years ago. Here's a little teaser of what it looks like all armored up, but we're going to start without any armor on it and show you a bit about the inner figure before we get on to all of the separate individual components. Alright, so here we have Great Mazinger in his naked, armorless form. The reason behind this whole idea is that there was always cutaway versions of the robots in the back of comics and even in the anime open and closing. So it became kind of a thing where it was just fun to see, like, what is the mechanism that is going on inside of these super robots, and it kind of showed them as realistical mechanical things as opposed to just tubes that walked around with a guy driving it. I mean, not that any of this is actually plausible, but it was a nice added touch, I think, to the mythology. So you can see the Nurble missile that doesn't shoot in this version, but that's where it would come out of. You have the whole mechanism for the breast burn, and you also can see storage here for the Mazinger blade. So they come out. They have little tiny ones that will clip in there, and we'll show you those in a minute. Obviously, then he holds real ones that are big. The fixed pose hands are the only hands. These fists are the only ones that have a removable cover. So while these springs and pistons look good, they don't actually move. But I wanted to show you one of the key things here that was a huge issue with the old version was the elbow joint that it just kept falling off. So I'm here to tell you that 100% awesome, not falling off. That is good news right there. And that's something that can be said throughout the entire figure, is that all the joint work, when you pick up the Mazinger, things fall off pretty easily. And they have really made sure that all the panels are nice and tight and everything connects well, and it feels very much like a toy when it is fully assembled, even though it kind of isn't. I mean, it is, but it's, you know, you're not going to give it to your 5-year-old. I've already wounded myself on it once, which it's so sharp. So you can see that while the front, the panels will come off, the back, they do not. But let's see how the armor goes on, and we'll go through sort of each piece. Well, before that, I also wanted to show you the center control unit here. This comes out, and there are 2 AAA batteries that need to be inserted in here. And then you just stick it back in. There's a 3-minute sleep timer or so if it doesn't get used in 3 minutes, you do have to kind of open them up and press the button again to get it to work. So the feet plates here are die-cast metal, and they have a little clip in here. So all you need to do is click it in like so. So as you can see, I've added the small swords in there in advance of closing the panels up. Once again, these panels are metal, and they have some nice interior detailing, and they just clip on like so. I put these pieces on first because it's easier to do the whole other leg assembly. These are by far the heaviest pieces. You can just see how sturdy the clips are in here. They're really nicely done. I think they are not keyed any specific way, so they should just clip right on. Now you notice the kneecaps here are also lacking any covers. That's because they also have the knee impulse kick weapon attachments if you want, but for now we're just going to go with the basic attachments. So now we move on to the hand. We get the little plate that covers the fist that goes on first. Then I would recommend you do the shoulder piece next. Now this is an interesting piece. This is the upper arm piece. Notice the little angled tab there. You have to kind of go like that to get it in. So you just kind of snap it in. Sounds good. Put one side of that on there. There's a little, I think there's a little magnet action going on in here. I'm not entirely sure, but that sticks on just like that. So the next thing we're going to do, actually first we'll do this head next. So normally you have a plate that you put over the internal mechanism, but the head being small, they actually just provide you with a faceless head, you know, and then a face. So you just take that off. You have a little piece here that should come off. And then you get the proper head. Goes on, snaps in tight. The chest, there is an order that I found is best. So this center piece goes in first, plastic, and this waist piece comes in. And then finally the chest piece goes on, also metal. Now, you notice the big chrome empty spot there. What that's for is when you do the light up action, there is a translucent chest V for the breast burn effect. You don't always, so these mirrors will carry the light through and light everything up. You don't always have that though, so they've provided you with these spacers here, which aren't super attractive, to be honest with you, but they're covered up when you have the V on, which is right here. And now you'll notice there's a little tab that you got to flick out, like so. It can be a challenge to get that to click in right. I happen to do it this time because I've done it a few times, but really what you want to do is line up the V with these grooves and then just sort of push it in, and then it'll work just fine. As we all know, the Brain Condor is the ship that the pilot docks into Great Mazinger, and you can see it's it's nicely detailed, and it's self-contained, so it doesn't actually push in. There's a little mechanism here that bends this around back, and another nice thing is that you notice that the cockpit can sort of straighten out a bit. So when he's flying, it's down, and when he's docked, it's up. With that done, it just comes down, docks into the head, like so. In the anime, the Scramble Dash, the wings, just sort of sprout out of Great Mazinger's back, but we can't do that here, so we have a Scramble Dash attachment. Wings do move a little bit, and there are two pegs right here, and they just line up the pegs on the back. Very easy to put on, very stable, looks fantastic. And when Great Mazinger is armored up, he's still really posable. He's got a nice, the head is got a full range of motion, which looks good. The waist can turn. No ab crunch or anything going on though, it doesn't do that. The pistons work and look good. So I mean, it's pretty nice, even though it is a kind of a very high-end model. It can strike a pose really well. You can hold up the plane without all the pieces falling off, which is more than I can say for his little brother. That one is a pain in the ass, although a good-looking pain in the ass. Let's go through some accessories, shall we? So first up for weapons, we have the Mazinger blade, and they're two giant chrome swords that have holding hands, essentially. They're big and they're chrome and they look awesome, and that's pretty much all there is to it. The very end of the hilt can be separated, so if you want to fit it into the hand first and then attach the ball at the end of the hilt, you can do that. In those same hands, you can use the the great boomerang, so you can throw the chest V across the room should you want to. And that's where these spacers come in handy, because you don't see the gap left behind. I could see both sides for the argument here. On one hand, you don't want your expensive collectible shooting and hitting the ground and getting scratched up and whatnot. On the other hand, it does everything else, so why not do that? I just learned something else. This piece is actually supposed to come off. So this piece here, you can remove it, because it gives you, then you get the clearance on the arm, a little more clearance anyway. So I think that's on purpose, maybe? I don't know. Either way. After a while playing with this, your area is going to inevitably look like this, and you're like, all right, which piece is the other side for that? Is that, oh, that one, it's going to be a giant mess of parts. And that's only just the parts I'm using right now. Get used to it. Great Mazinger's lesser known, but still potent attacks is the knee impulse kick. And for that, they have provided some cool spikes in which he can knee people in the groin. And then there's also the thing called the backspin kick. And these sort of go on like so. Well, actually, first thing you do is you put these special knee caps on that have the spacer in there, and then you can just do that. Once again, I believe it's a not frequently used attack, but it's sort of something that every high-end version of Great Mazinger has come with over the years. I teased it before, but here are the fins that come out for flight mode.